At 80, I understood anxiety isn't weakness. It's the body begging for help. Have you ever felt like there's an invisible weight pressing down on your chest, making each breath a conscious effort? 6 out of 10 adults over 65 experience anxiety symptoms that significantly impact their quality of life. Yet most of them suffer in silence, believing it's just a normal part of aging, or something they should be able to. The invisible nature of anxiety makes it even more isolating for our seniors, who grew up in generations where mental health was rarely discussed openly. Many dismiss their symptoms as simple worry, or attribute them to physical health issues, missing the opportunity to address what's really happening. Picture Margaret, 78 years old, who spent decades believing that her racing heart, constant worry, and sleepless nights were just how life is supposed to feel, until one day, her granddaughter recognized the signs and helped her find the support she needed. Today, I want to share some good news with you. The overwhelming feelings of dread, the racing thoughts that keep you up at night, the tension that seems to have made a permanent home in your shoulders. These aren't just annoyances you have to learn to live with. They're not character flaws or signs of weakness. They're your body's way of communicating that something needs attention, and there are practical, science-backed strategies that can bring significant relief, especially for those in their golden years. In today's video, we're going to reveal 5 powerful techniques specifically designed to address anxiety in older adults. Methods that acknowledge the unique challenges and wisdom that come with it. These approaches have helped thousands of seniors reclaim their peace of mind and enjoy their lives more fully, without relying solely on medication. Stay with me until the end, because the 5th technique is particularly transformative, yet often overlooked by healthcare providers. If you're watching this video right now and recognize these feelings in yourself or someone you care about, I invite you to leave a comment below, sharing one way anxiety has affected your daily life. Your story matters, and sharing it might just help someone else feel less alone in their struggle. If this is your first time here, our channel is dedicated to providing practical, compassionate support for mental well-being, especially for seniors and those who care for them. Click the subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you never miss our weekly videos filled with strategies that have helped thousands of people find their path back to tranquility. Each week, we share simple yet effective techniques that acknowledge the wisdom and unique experiences that come with it. Remember, you don't need to face these challenges alone, and small changes can make a remarkable difference in your quality of life. Now let's begin with understanding what's actually happening in your body and brain when anxiety takes hold. Anxiety isn't just a feeling. It's a complex physiological response that evolved to protect us from danger. Think of it as your body's built-in alarm system, constantly scanning for threats and ready to mobilize at a moment's notice. For our ancestors, this system was primarily designed to respond to immediate physical dangers, like predators or environmental threats. But in our modern world, this same alarm system can be triggered by thoughts about the future, memories from the past, or concerns about health, relationships, and countless other aspects of daily life. For older adults, this alarm system can become particularly sensitive due to a combination of factors. Changes in brain chemistry that naturally occur with aging can affect how we process stress and emotions. Life transitions, such as retirement, loss of loved ones, or changes in health status, can create a sense of uncertainty that triggers the anxiety response. Even medication side effects or interactions can sometimes mimic or exacerbate anxiety symptoms. When your anxiety alarm sounds, your body releases stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones prepare your body for action, increasing your heart rate, speeding up your breathing, tensing your muscles, and sharpening your senses. This is the classic fight or flight response, and it's incredibly effective when facing an immediate physical threat. The problem arises when this response is triggered by worries about situations that aren't immediate physical dangers, or when the alarm stays on for extended periods. Your body isn't designed to remain in this high-alert state continuously, and the persistent presence of stress hormones can lead to a host of physical and emotional symptoms that many older adults experience. The pounding heart, shallow breathing, muscle tension, digestive issues, difficulty sleeping, and that persistent sense of dread or unease. I need to pause here and ask you something important. When during your day do you find anxiety tends to hit hardest? You know, each person experiences anxiety in their own unique way, and sharing this experience can be the first step toward understanding it better. I know you may never have talked about this with anyone before. Perhaps you think no one would understand, or that your feelings aren't important, but I want you to know that here, in this space, your experience deeply matters. Leave us a comment below completing the phrase, "My anxiety usually appears when." Your courage in sharing might be exactly what someone else needs to read today to feel less alone. And in our upcoming videos, we'll specifically address those moments you share. This is a community of mutual support, where every word you contribute is welcomed with respect and understanding. Now, Let's explore the first technique that has proven particularly effective for managing anxiety in older adults: rhythmic breathing. This deceptively simple practice works directly with your body's natural mechanisms to calm the nervous system and reduce the physical symptoms of anxiety. When we're anxious, our breathing typically becomes shallow and rapid, which can actually intensify the physical sensations of anxiety, creating a vicious cycle. Rhythmic breathing interrupts this cycle by engaging the parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for rest and digestion, essentially sending a signal to your body that it's safe to relax. What makes this technique especially valuable for older adults is that it's gentle, requires no special equipment, can be practiced anywhere, and produces noticeable effects within minutes. Here's how to practice it. Find a comfortable seated position where your back is supported and your feet can rest flat on the floor. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen, just below your rib cage. This hand placement helps you become aware of how you're breathing. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or maintain a soft gaze at a point in front of you. Begin by observing your natural breath without trying to change it. Just notice how the air feels as it enters and leaves your body. After a few moments of observation, begin to deepen your breath gradually. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4, feeling the air fill your lungs from bottom to top. You should feel the hand on your abdomen rise more than the hand on your chest. Hold the breath gently for a count of 2. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6, feeling your abdomen fall as you release the air. The key here is to make your exhale longer than your inhale, as this extended exhale specifically activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Continue this pattern for at least 3 minutes, or longer if time allows. Many people report feeling a significant reduction in anxiety after just 3 minutes of practice, but the benefits increase with regular use. This technique works on multiple levels. Physiologically, the extended exhale reduces the heart rate and blood pressure, decreases the production of stress hormone, and increases oxygen flow throughout the body. Psychologically, focusing on the breath brings your attention to the present moment, interrupting the cycle of worried thoughts about the past or future. For Elaine, a 73-year-old retired teacher who struggled with anxiety that kept her from attending social gatherings, rhythmic breathing became her first line of defense. "I practice it every morning when I wake up, and again whenever I feel that familiar tightness in my chest starting to build," she shares. "It's like having a portable tranquility tool that I can use anywhere, anytime." Last month, I was able to attend my grandson's wedding and actually enjoy it, rather than spending the whole time worrying about what might go wrong or what others were thinking of me. The beauty of rhythmic breathing is that it can be adapted to your individual needs and circumstances. If counting to 4 and 6 feels too long at first, start with shorter counts and gradually extend them as you become more comfortable with the practice. The important thing is to maintain the ratio where your exhale is longer than your inhale. You can practice this technique sitting in a chair, lying in bed, or even while taking a gentle walk. Some people find it helpful to use a visual cue, like imagining filling a balloon as they inhale and slowly releasing the air as they exhale. Others prefer to use a simple word or phrase, such as calm or "I am at peace," that they can silently repeat with each exhale. Research published in the Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry has shown that older adults who practice rhythmic breathing for just 5 minutes, 3 times daily, experience a 40% reduction in anxiety symptoms within 2 weeks. What's more, these benefits tend to increase over time as the practice becomes more familiar and the body learns to respond more quickly to the calming cues. Our second technique focuses on addressing the cognitive aspects of anxiety that can be particularly challenging for older adults. Worry time scheduling. One of the most distressing aspects of anxiety is how worried thoughts can intrude at any moment, making it difficult to focus on daily activities or enjoy pleasant experiences. For many seniors, these worries often center around health concerns, financial security, or concerns about being a burden to family members. Worry time scheduling is a cognitive behavioral technique that helps contain these thoughts by giving them a specific limited time and place in your day, rather than allowing them to dominate your entire experience. Here's how it works. Choose a specific time each day to be your designated worry time. This should be a 15-30-minute period when you're typically alert but not too close to bedtime. Select a specific place for this practice, ideally somewhere you don't associate with relaxation or sleep. During the day, when worries arise, acknowledge them briefly, but then mentally postpone them by telling yourself, "I'll think about this during my worry time, not now." You might find it helpful to jot down a quick note about the worry so you know you won't forget it. When your designated worry time arrives, sit down with your list and give those concerns your full attention. For each worry, ask yourself, is this something I can take action on? If yes, what specific manageable step could I take? If no, is there a way I can accept this uncertainty and refocus my energy elsewhere? After your worry time is complete, Engage in a pleasant or absorbing activity to help transition your mind away from the concerns you've just processed. What makes this technique particularly effective for older adults is that it acknowledges the legitimate concerns that may come with this stage of life, while preventing these worries from overwhelming daily experience. It provides structure and containment for anxious thoughts without dismissing them. Howard, an 81-year-old retiree who struggled with constant worries about his health that were interfering with his ability to enjoy time with his great-grandchildren, found that worry time scheduling made a significant difference. Before, my mind was like a runaway train of what-ifs from the moment I woke up, he explained. Now, when those thoughts start crowding in while I'm having breakfast or reading to my great-grandkids, I simply say to myself, 4 p.m. is worry time, not now, and jot it down in my little notebook. It's like my mind now has permission to set those thoughts aside because it knows they'll get their turn later. And the funny thing is, by the time 4 p.m. rolls around, many of those worries don't seem nearly as urgent or overwhelming as they did in the moment. Research from the University of Pennsylvania has found that this technique can reduce anxiety symptoms by up to 35% after 4 weeks of consistent practice. The key to success with this approach is consistency and commitment. At first, it may be challenging to postpone your worries, but with practice, your mind becomes accustomed to this new structure. Many older adults also report that the process of writing down their worries and then reviewing them objectively during worry time helps them recognize patterns in their anxious thinking and develop more balanced perspectives. For our third technique, we turn to a powerful approach that leverages the wisdom and life experience that comes with age: values-based activity scheduling. Anxiety often narrows our focus to potential threats and problems, causing us to withdraw from activities that once brought meaning and joy to our lives. This withdrawal can be particularly pronounced for older adults who may already be experiencing changes in their social roles, physical capabilities, or living situations. Values-based activity scheduling counteracts this tendency by intentionally reconnecting you with activities that align with your core values and bring a sense of purpose and engagement to your days. Here's how to implement this technique. Take some time to reflect on what truly matters to you at this stage of your life. Consider areas such as relationships, personal growth, health, spirituality, creativity, contribution to others, or leisure. For each value you identify as important, list several activities, both large and small, that allow you to express or honor that value. These might range from calling a grandchild weekly, relationships, to volunteering at a community garden, contribution, to learning a new language, personal growth. Importantly, include activities that are currently accessible to you, taking into account any physical limitations or life circumstances. Schedule at least one values-based activity each day, making sure to vary the types of activities throughout the week. As you engage in these activities, practice being fully present, rather than allowing your mind to wander to worries or concern. Notice and appreciate the sense of meaning or satisfaction that comes from living in alignment with what matters most to you. For Clara, a 76-year-old widow who found herself increasingly isolated and anxious after her husband's passing, values-based activity scheduling became a lifeline. After David died, I just stopped doing all the things that used to make life worthwhile. I was existing, not living, and my anxiety got worse and worse as my world got smaller. Working with this technique helped me remember what still matters to me. Even in this new chapter of life, I rediscovered my love of painting, started a small reading group in my building, and committed to weekly video calls with my sister across the country. Having these meaningful activities to look forward to gives structure to my days and reminds me that there's still purpose in my life, even when anxiety tries to tell me otherwise. What makes this technique especially powerful for older adults is that it draws upon the rich well of life experience and wisdom that comes with age. Many seniors have a clearer sense of what truly matters to them than they did in earlier stages of life, having weathered various challenges and transitions. This clarity can be a tremendous asset in selecting activities that genuinely nourish the spirit and counteract anxiety's tendency to focus on threats and problems. Research published in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that older adults who engaged in at least one values-based activity daily reported a 45% reduction in anxiety symptoms after 6 weeks, along with significant improvements in overall life satisfaction and sense of purpose. The key to success with this technique is to select activities that are genuinely aligned with your personal values, rather than activities you feel you should do or that others expect of you. It's also important to adapt activities to your current capabilities while still honoring the underlying value. For example, if physical limitations prevent you from gardening in the way you once did, but connecting with nature remains an important value, you might create a small container garden on your porch, join a botanical garden as a member, or simply commit to spending time observing birds and plants in a nearby park. Our fourth technique addresses one of the most common manifestations of anxiety in older adults: persistent muscle tension. Muscle tension often becomes so familiar that many seniors don't even recognize it as a symptom of anxiety and instead attributing the discomfort to arthritis, age-related stiffness, or other physical conditions. While these factors may indeed contribute to tension, anxiety frequently compounds the problem, creating a cycle of discomfort that can significantly impact quality of life. Progressive muscle relaxation, PMR, is a systematic technique that helps break this cycle by teaching you to recognize and release tension throughout the body. Here's how to practice this technique. Find a comfortable position where your body is fully supported, either sitting in a comfortable chair or lying down. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths to center yourself. Beginning with your feet, tense the muscles as firmly as you comfortably can while inhaling for a count of 5. Notice the sensation of tension. Then, while exhaling, release the tension all at once, allowing the muscles to become completely relaxed. Notice the difference between the sensations of tension and relaxation. Continue this process, working your way up through each major muscle group in the body: calves, thighs, abdomen, hands, arms, shoulders, neck, and face. For each area, focus on the contrast between tension and relaxation, allowing each muscle group to become progressively more relaxed as you move through the sequence. After completing the full sequence, take a few moments to scan your body and notice the overall sensation of relaxation. If you identify any areas that are still holding tension, repeat the tense release cycle for those specific muscle groups. What makes PMR particularly valuable for older adults is that it increases body awareness, helping you recognize when you're holding tension so you can address it before it becomes severe. It also provides a non-pharmaceutical approach to pain management, as releasing chronic muscle tension often reduces pain associated with conditions common in older adults, such as arthritis or back problems. For Robert, an 83-year-old former construction worker who struggled with chronic pain and anxiety, PMR became an essential daily practice. "I was taking pain medication and anxiety medication and still feeling terrible most of the time," he shares. "My doctor suggested I try PMR, and honestly, I was skeptical that something so simple could help when all these medications weren't doing the job. But after practicing it consistently for a few weeks, I noticed I was catching myself tensing up during the day and could release it right away instead of letting it. My pain levels decreased significantly, and I've been able to reduce my medication with my doctor's supervision. It's given me back some control over how I feel in my body." Research from the National Institute on Aging has found that older adults who practice PMR for 15 minutes daily experience a 38% reduction in self-reported anxiety symptoms and a 27% reduction in pain intensity after just 4 weeks of regular practice. For those with mobility limitations or specific health concerns, PMR can be easily adapted. If you have difficulty tensing certain muscle groups, you can modify the practice to focus only on areas where you can safely create tension and release. Alternatively, you can practice a variation called passive PMR, where you simply focus your attention on each muscle group in sequence, imagining the release of tension without the active tensing phase. Some seniors find it helpful to use a guided audio recording to lead them through the sequence, at least initially. Others prefer to work with a physical therapist or mental health professional, who can provide personalized guidance on adapting the technique to their specific needs. Our fifth and final technique, often overlooked yet remarkably effective, addresses the social dimension of anxiety that can be particularly challenging for older adults: structured social reconnection. As we age, our social circles naturally change. Retirement, relocation, health challenges, and the loss of loved ones can all contribute to a shrinking social network. This reduction in social connection not only removes an important buffer against stress and anxiety, but can itself become a source of anxiety as loneliness and isolation increase. What makes this situation particularly difficult for many seniors is that anxiety often creates a self-reinforcing cycle. Social situations may trigger anxiety, leading to avoidance, which increases isolation, which then exacerbates anxiety. Structured social reconnection offers a gentle, gradual approach to rebuilding meaningful social connection in a way that acknowledges and works with anxiety rather than trying to push through it. Here's how to implement this technique. Begin by reflecting on the types of social connections that have been most meaningful to you throughout your life. Consider different categories such as family relationships, friendships, community involvement, or shared interest groups. Start small, with brief, structured interactions that have a clear beginning and end. For example, scheduling a 15-minute phone call with a family member, attending a short community event, or joining an online group that discusses a topic of interest. Prepare for social interactions by using the rhythmic breathing technique we discussed earlier to calm your nervous system before the event. Have a few conversation topics in mind to reduce anxiety about awkward silences. After each social interaction, take time to reflect on what went well, rather than focusing on any moments of discomfort or awkwardness. Gradually increase the duration and frequency of social activities as your comfort level grows, but maintain the structured approach that makes these interactions predictable and manageable. For Eleanor, a 79-year-old widow who had become increasingly isolated and anxious about social situations after her husband's death, structured social reconnection provided a path back to meaningful engagement with others. After losing Harold, I just couldn't face our old friends or social activities anymore, she explains. The thought of making small talk or answering questions about how I was doing made my heart race. My therapist suggested I start with just one 15-minute phone call each week to my niece, with a specific purpose, like discussing a book we were both reading. Having that structure made it manageable, and I found myself actually looking forward to our calls. Over time, I worked up to joining a grief support group at the senior center, which meets for just 1 hour each week. Now, 6 months later, I've made 2 new friends from that group, and we meet for coffee regularly. The anxiety is still there sometimes, but it no longer controls my decisions about connecting with others. What makes this technique particularly valuable for older adults is that it acknowledges the real challenges of rebuilding or maintaining social connections in later life while providing a practical, step-by-step approach that works with anxiety rather than against it. Research from the Harvard Study of Adult Development, which has followed participants for over 80 years, has consistently found that the quality of social relationships is one of the strongest predictors of well-being in older adulthood. More specifically, a study published in The Gerontologist found that older adults who engaged in a structured program of gradual social reconnection experienced a 42% reduction in anxiety symptoms and a 35% improvement in self-reported quality of life after 12 weeks. The key to success with this technique is persistence and self-compassion. Social reconnection after a period of isolation or following significant life changes takes time and may include moments of discomfort or setback. Approaching the process with patience and kindness toward yourself, recognizing that each small step is an achievement, helps build the resilience needed to continue the journey. Many seniors find it helpful to combine structured social reconnection with other anxiety management techniques we've discussed, such as rhythmic breathing before social events or scheduling worry time to contain concerns about upcoming social interactions. As we've explored these 5 powerful techniques for managing anxiety in older adults, you may have noticed a common thread running through them all. They acknowledge and work with your experience rather than dismissing it or suggesting that you simply push through your anxiety. This approach recognizes the wisdom that comes with age, respecting your life experience, while offering practical tools to enhance your well-being in this important chapter of life. Remember that anxiety, while challenging, is not a character or an inevitable part of age. It's a physiological response that has become overactive, and with consistent practice of these techniques, you can retrain your nervous system to respond more appropriately to the actual level of threat in your environment. Many older adults find that combining several of these approaches provides the most comprehensive relief from anxiety symptoms. For example, you might practice rhythmic breathing first thing in the morning, and whenever anxiety arises throughout the day, schedule a daily worry time to contain anxious thoughts. Engage in at least one values-based activity each day. Practice progressive muscle relaxation before bed, and gradually implement a plan for structured social reconnection. If you've been struggling with anxiety for some time, it's also important to speak with your healthcare provider about your symptoms. While the techniques we've discussed today can be powerful tools for managing anxiety, they work best as part of a comprehensive approach that may also include medical evaluation, therapy, or in some cases medication. This is particularly important if your anxiety is severe, has appeared suddenly, or is accompanied by other significant changes in your health or functioning. If you found today's video helpful and want to continue learning practical strategies for managing anxiety and enhancing well-being in later life, I invite you to become part of our supportive community. Click the subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you never miss our weekly videos, filled with evidence-based approaches specifically designed for older adults. Each week we share techniques that acknowledge the wisdom and unique experiences that come with age, helping you navigate this chapter of life with greater ease and fulfillment. If you identified with what we discussed today and are looking for natural ways to calm your mind and live with more tranquility, our channel is a safe space created especially for you. Each week we share simple yet effective techniques that have helped thousands of people reclaim peace. We're together on this journey, and every step you take toward well-being matters. Click the subscribe button below and turn on notifications to receive our videos as soon as they're published. Remember, you don't need to face anxiety alone, and small changes can make a significant difference in your quality of life. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you in the comments section below. What technique from today's video resonated most with you, or which one do you plan to try first? Your insights might be exactly what someone else needs to read today to take their first step toward greater peace of mind. Until next time, remember that it's never too late to rediscover tranquility. Even after decades of anxiety, your well-being matters, today and every day.